Chapter 16. Are you really going to be happy with a Boxster? Sam asked as they left the dealership. Brent had decided on a silver Boxster, and while nice, it wouldn't have been Sam's first choice. Brent took her hand and laced his fingers with hers as they walked back to the limo. Julia read me all the statistics of red cars and accidents while I was in the hospital. She might have skinned me alive if I bought another red car. I know, but a Boxster? Sam was kidding, and she knew Brent understood that by the look he gave her. Get in and stop giving me grief, woman. He motioned her inside the door to the limo. The driver, clad all in black with a white shirt, held the door open. Though Brent had paid for the Porsche outright, and they could have driven it home, he was still sore from the accident, and Sam did not feel comfortable driving such an expensive car around in a city she didn't know. So Brent had opted to have it delivered and hired another limo pickup. When the driver climbed into the front seat, Brent leaned forward to speak through the window. To the St. Regis, please. Right away, sir. Are you still hungry? Brent began opening cabinets and the mini-fridge. There's nuts and champagne. Sam laughed at the image of him scrounging in the limo. I'm fine. Overwhelmed, actually. It does take some getting used to, he agreed, but it has some nice perks. Sam nodded and ran her hand across the plush leather seat. Had she ever been in a limousine? Maybe in high school. Prom. Yes, definitely prom. Connor, her boyfriend at the time, and the other boys had gone in on a limo to take them to prom. But it wasn't the same. That limo had been older, the seats upholstered in some knobby fabric instead of the smooth leather caressing her palms now. And with 10 of them shoved inside, it definitely hadn't felt spacious. What are you thinking? Sam blinked and focused on Brent, who was staring intently at her. Oh, I was just thinking back to high school, the only other time I was in a limo, and wondering if I'm really cut out for your world. Brent picked up her hand and ran his thumb across the top. He was silent for a moment, gathering his thoughts. Sam, I enjoy having money, but it doesn't define me. I grew up in a small town, and even though my family was well off, my father hid how wealthy we were until I was a teenager. It might be an adjustment, but I could go back to that life. Sam stared into his eyes, gauging his truthfulness. His eyes met her gaze, and they were open and honest. Perhaps he could adjust to living in a smaller town again, but could she ask him to? As the limo pulled to a stop, the driver turned to face them. Here we are, sir. Let me get the door for you. Brent stepped out first and held his hand out to Sam. As she took in the multi-level white building, her eyes widened. Lush green trees surrounded the building, which meant it was obviously watered a lot, as there wasn't much rain in Houston. It's so big, he suggested. Opulent was the word I was going for. I don't think I've ever stayed in a hotel so large. A large smile spread across Brent's face, showing off his white teeth. Just wait until you see inside. He pressed a few bills into the driver's hand, then took Sam's hand and led her inside. Brent hadn't been joking about the inside. The floor was a white marble, but it was threaded with gold. Golds, browns, and reds accented the room. The couches were tan and gold, the rugs brown and red. A gold speckling covered the white marble desk that lay in front of them. A light brown wainscoting covered the walls, and the ceilings were painted a beige color and had to be at least 12 feet high. In the middle of the ceiling, a large gold chandelier hung down, sending prisms of color across the floor. Sam's eyes flitted from one piece of the room to the next, unsure of what to focus on. Brent led the way to the large desk and greeted the woman behind it.
"Hello, Brent McKasson, checking in?"
"Yes, Mr. McKasson. Welcome to the St. Regis. Are you having a nice evening tonight?" The woman was young, in her late 20s probably, with shoulder-length brown hair and big doe eyes that she batted occasionally at Brent as she checked him in. "I'm standing right here," Sam thought, but she wasn't flashy. Yes, her dress was nice, but still probably nothing anyone in this hotel would touch. And her soft, dark hair framed her face nicely, but there was nothing stellar about it, or her blue eyes. Sam bit her lip, not enjoying this feeling of insecurity. "Have a nice day," the woman's voice finished.
"Thank you. We will."
Brent emphasized the "we" and squeezed Sam's hand, lifting it slightly to bring it into the woman's vision. "Why did you do that?" Sam hissed as he led her to the elevator. "You're not staying with me." He pressed the button and the gold doors slid open.
"No, but she doesn't know that. I didn't like the way she was looking at me, like I was her next meal or something."
He pretended to shudder as he stepped into the elevator, but his smile gave him away. Sam's mouth dropped open. "You like the attention," she accused as she joined him. The doors closed and Brent punched the highest button.
"No, I used to, but you showed me that I want so much more. While the attention is flattering, I also wanted her to know that I was taken."
The heat crept up Sam's neck again. How did he always know what to say? With a soft ding, the elevator doors hissed open and they stepped out. There was a door to the left and a door to the right, but not much else in this hallway. Brent turned left and flashed the card key across the reader. A soft click sounded and the door swung inward. "You got the penthouse?" Sam's eyes widened as she stepped inside. "This isn't a hotel room, Brent. It's an entire apartment, and it's bigger than my house back home." Brent just smiled and continued inside. The room opened into a large sitting room with a couch, 2 chairs, and a fireplace. To the left was a door leading to the bedroom and bathroom, and to the right was a small kitchen and eating area.
"I figured since you would be here a few days, you deserved more than a hotel room," Brent said.
"But Brent, you didn't let me pack. I don't have any clothes or my toothbrush." Although Sam was certain a place like this would give you a toothbrush and toothpaste.
"Don't worry about it. Julia took care of everything."
He led the way to the bedroom and flicked the light on. A large king-sized bed filled the room, and on top of the bed was a plethora of clothing. Shirts, pants, skirts, socks, and a bag from Victoria's Secrets which undoubtedly held undergarments.
"Size 6, right?"
Sam nodded as she stepped up to the bed. Though all the price tags had been taken off, Sam was certain everything on the bed was brand new. "What is all this?"
"I told Julia to buy you a few pieces you would feel comfortable in."
Brent chuckled as he looked over the clothes. Though nice, they were definitely not what Sam usually wore.
"As you can see, she isn't sold on your style and was obviously hoping to influence you a little. You'll find all the bathroom necessities you need stocked as well."
"I'm only here for a few days," Sam stammered. "Why would you go through all this for a few days?"
"Because you're worth it."
Brent pulled her close and cupped her face with his hand.
And I want you to feel comfortable here."
As his lips closed on hers, explosions fired in Sam's head. She hoped it wasn't just the money, but she was afraid she was falling for Brent. Hard and fast. Brent opened the door of his penthouse apartment located just a few minutes from the St. Regis Hotel and sighed slightly. He had only been gone a week, but he had missed the place. Actually, it wasn't so much the place as the space. Sam was a hospitable host, but he had been staying in a single room with a bathroom down the hall. After he left the hospital and returned to Sam, he had stayed with Fanny in an even smaller room with a shared bathroom. They hadn't thought it would be appropriate for him to stay with Sam again now that they were dating. Either way, both were quite a stretch from his 2,000-square-foot apartment. He took a moment to wander the rooms and reacquaint himself with the place. Though it was just him, the apartment boasted 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a formal and informal living room, a large kitchen, and a dining room. Brent paused for a moment outside his bedroom as his king-sized bed called to him, but he needed to unwind first. He returned to the kitchen and grabbed a drink from the fridge before wandering into the living room. A little TV, that's what he needed. Something trivial he could watch and just unplug. Brent had just settled into his favorite recliner when a knock sounded at the door. He glanced at his watch, surprised that someone would be at his door this late. But he rose and crossed to the door. The minute he opened the door, he cursed himself for not using the spy hole first. Trisha stood on the other side of the door, dressed to the nines. Her glossy red lips pulled into a smile as her gaze met his.
"What are you doing here, Trisha?"
He positioned himself in the doorway to block her entrance. "Giving you another chance." Her voice sounded more like a purr as she laid a hand on his arm. "I think you were confused last time when I came to the cabin."
"I wasn't confused, Trisha. Not last time or the other times I broke it off. I want something different, something you can't offer me."
Trisha's lips pushed out in a pout, and she batted her eyes at him. "I can be anything you want. Just tell me what you want me to be." Brent sighed and rolled his eyes.
"That's just it, Trisha. I don't want to have to tell you what to be. Sam just is what I want."
Trisha's eyes widened into large saucers. "Sam? Who's Sam? Is she the one you were jabbering about at the cabin? You can't be serious, Brent. You'll never be happy in that tiny town."
"I already am happy, Trisha. Look, I'm sorry it didn't work out, but you'll find someone who suits you better. It just won't be me."
Trisha's gaze turned into a hateful glare. "You're the one who will be sorry, Brent. You have no idea what I'm capable of." Before he could say another word, she whirled and stomped away. With a shake of his head, Brent shut the door. Trisha might be crazy, but he was pretty sure she was harmless. Still, he was glad to be rid of her. He made a mental note to ask the management to keep her from coming to his room again.